from when the process started to now. People they think people just jump to the top of the mountain. It ain't no one step.
No, no, it sure ain't no one-step process.
Yeah.
It sure ain't. I've seen
Yeah,
it from a
bro.
bunch of different angles.
Yeah, yeah. We love it, man. So we excited about that, man. And look, it's been some upsets already, but we gonna say that after he gets this thing started because things get shook up in this March Madness in these brackets, boy.
Yeah. We got a family bracket. I always finish last in it. I always be trying to get the wrong Cinderella pick. If it's
Yes,
Cinderella,
sir.
they don't be the ones I pick.
Hey,
Yeah.
do the rest of your family give you a hard time when you finish last?
I got a highly competitive family.
Mhm.
All my daughters played.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder where they get that highly competitive nature from.
I get blamed for anything that's like that. Now, if they had good sense, they get that from their mama. Daddy ain't had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Hey, and we gonna talk a little bit about that too later on, man. How women's basketball is taking on a life of its own, man. Bruh, this thing here is man. Yeah, it's when you see that whereas we're witnessing before our eyes the transition going from them getting contracts where they're barely making it to pretty soon they're gonna be getting these big contracts. It's on the
Yeah.
way.
Well, they got, they have the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson of the WNBA now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm on. We had talked about that way back when they were actually competing against each other in college.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And people were getting all upset, and we're like, I don't know why y'all getting upset. If it saves the league, then let it save it.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. And
Let it make enough money for everybody to get some.
there you go, man. Brett, hey, look, what do they say? When you expand the pie, everybody gets more. So whatever we got to do to bring it in, to bring people into the fold, so we can get everybody paid. Let's do it. You know.
Yep.
And
our culture don't see it that way.
yeah. But Mickey, hey, brother Shed, welcome, my brother.
Hey, how y'all doing?
All right.
Good,
Brother
good.
Shed is from Florida, Coach.
Yeah, I know Mickey.
Okay.
Well, why you got to say it like, man? I know Mickey.
Well, hey, I remember. I ain't saying it rough. I know about some of the times you've been through, though. I was right there too in the Rattler Den.
The Rattler Den.
Yes,
I like
sir.
that. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's hard to be a rattler.
So sometimes eat our own.
Yes, sir.
Coach, are you still the only coach who's won both championship on the female and men's side in Division I?
At the same school? Yes, sir.
Yeah, at the same school. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Cool. That's an accolade that may live for it. It'll take a long time to break that one,
Oh, yeah.
Might take a minute.
Yeah. So that's one thing I know you're very proud for, notch on your belt.
Well, I'm very proud of my whole FAMU heritage.
Yes.
A&M allowed me to live and come up in a whole different income tax bracket because it educated my mother, my father, and my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
My allegiance to the university goes back sometime better than their allegiance to me.
Right. Wow. Okay.
But that's why I owe all of what I am, good or bad, to Florida A&M. That's what raised me.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up.
Our friend Ron has that same type of feeling in his heart for fam. He raises money every year, and he's always bringing us FAMU news. He brought us you.
Yeah. Ron and what they do, the alumni do in Dallas is exemplary. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I was working with the president raising money that we all felt that if we had more people like what the alumni were like in Dallas and in Detroit. Atlanta's right there close to it, but then when you walk in there, they already met with all the corporations. They had everything laid out for Dr. Humphreys when he walked in. They would tell them they're gonna offer you this amount of money, Doc, but tell them no, because we know that they already put this aside, so you can get more than what they're initially gonna offer you. They're gonna lowball you. And Dr. Humphreys would come off the road trip, and he just reach in his pocket, just be pulling checks out and unfolding them, because Doc was a special kind of guy.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. Ron always told me about him, man. I mean, you know, and like I say, I don't know. I mean, have you ever been to Ron Fry's Attitude Adjustment Weekend when he raises?
I don't go down there with Ron. I don't go down there with Ron for that. He always sending me invitations. No, I don't go down there.
I think he's mellowed out a little bit.
He has to mellow out a
lot. Oh man.
So yes, you know the reputation there.
And when those FAMU alumni get jobs and come down there, which they help them get good jobs, they tell them what area to live in. They tell them where to go get their hair done. You know, they give them an indoctrination of the community that they need to be able to do that and present it to each one of our chapters somewhere, because they really do it well. Then they get those kids, and a lot of our chapters do. Now, a lot of chapters do stuff with the president when he comes and get those highly academic kids in a meeting with them, help them get financially set, help pay FAMU alumni, and how they support the school. Man, it ain't many institutions like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And like you said, when Dr. Humphreys was there, man, I mean, he was one of a kind, bro. You know, he was one of a kind. You know?
And he caught a lot of heat like that. I mean, he grew our university, and it came during a time when they wasn't really trying to grow Florida A&M.
Right.
They didn't have a choice with how he went about what he did. So they wasn't happy with that growth that we had at the institution.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, he said, everybody, we got to grow this school 1,000 students every year. That's our goal. We wanted to get to 15,000. He said, we want 1,000 every year. And every person who works on this campus, your job is to help recruit students.
I know Ron Fry. Look, we would be at career day. Me and Ron Fry. I mean, he'd pull kids, hey, let me tell you about FAMU. Let me tell you about that pharmacy program. Let me tell you about their MBA program. I mean, he, boom. He took every opportunity. And I've seen him work to get kids scholarships, who were considering another school. Well, come on, I'm at FAMU. Come on, let me let you take a look at it, Let me introduce you to, I call Ron, he's the networker. He's the connector.
Everybody.
Yeah, he's definitely the connector. Yeah. And like I said, he
very
connected us up.
About.
Yeah. Brother Ernest.
What's going on?
Good seeing you, brother.
What's happening, everybody?
Hey.
Bubby.
What's going on?
Man, you messing up this basketball time, man. I had to turn this thing so I could see the game. 4 games going on. You got a basketball guy.
I know.
You just got him sitting here chilling. Like, my man, shoot.
I've been watching all day.
2 days of the year.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been watching all day. I was supposed to go down to they have a March Madness. We usually do an annual thing where we go down to the Cheetah and do the March Madness down there. But I was gonna go today. It got a little cold. I said, no, you know what? They're gonna be down there all weekend, so I'll just wait and go tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I heard they still do that.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what, we're gonna take advantage of this time because we got Brother Mickey Clayton on here. We're gonna take advantage of this time. Brother Andy, see you over there. Welcome. And we're gonna talk a little March Madness because look, this brother right here, I mean, he has made an impact in college basketball. Actually, and I'm gonna let him tell the story because when you look at March Madness, you can see some of the people that he's impacted along the way. So, bro, let's just jump on in. Let's talk some basketball and let's talk some March Madness, bro. Thank you for taking the time to come on. Look, this is the perfect timing. Look, we got 1 hour on the TV, but we got 2 on you. So let's go.
We starting now?
Yeah, we go ahead and start, bro. Hey.
Okay.
Cause we live on YouTube too, right, bro, Mays?
Yes, sir.
All right,
So,
yes, sir.
so brother, you still at FAMU?
No, I'm retired.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you look like a retiree.
Man, I'm
I
chilling.
know.
That's
I
what
know that look. I look at one every day when I look in the mirror.
Stress free, huh?
That's it. Free.
Hey, man, the beautiful part about it, you get to call your own shots.
That's
Hey.
right.
Well, those shots that your wife don't call for you.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't have. Listen. I starred in that movie 3 times. I said I wasn't gonna do it again.
If that was the case with me, I'd be like Richard Pryor. I keep doing it till I get it right.
Well,
Oh
more power
man.
to you, my brother.
It's a matter of time
So
before you find the right one that's gonna say, "Let's do it again."
I hope not to have to do that.
That's right.
But brother Andy, you got the right one over there. Yeah, look, y'all empty nesters now.
Yeah, that's
You know, y'all enjoying life.
Hey, is
Yes, yeah.
FAMU gonna do anything this year? I mean, are they still in it?
Oh no, it's not many HBCUs in it now. There's
Oh,
only
really? I watched a couple of NIT games last night, but I figured it wasn't gonna be too many of us in the, in the big one.
Mhm.
But yeah, Mickey, let's talk about this March Madness and some of the things that you've seen, and some of the students that athletes that you had a part in touching along the way, and also want to get you, and then we're gonna talk about that a little bit. I want to get your opinion on this NIL stuff too, because it's a whole different game now than it was just 3 or 4 years ago, bro. I mean, things have changed out here, you know.
Well, the reality is it changes sometimes in the middle of the year. I mean, it's so much legislation that goes on, and on our show, we've actually been doing Insight Sports now for 11 years. And we started with our niche doing high school sports, live streaming area, high school basketball, football, girls basketball, volleyball, softball, baseball. And we were on local television here until COVID came. And what I knew, experiences at FAM teach you all the time. Once you start to excel and do something well, and it draws a lot of attention, and you have people come out the woodwork try to do what you do. So it was always interesting, the number of people that came out of the woodwork, went to the networks and tried to say, well, you're doing something with Coach Clayton. You got Mickey Clayton on, you doing him. We want to get on, you're not giving us a shot. And they were like, this is an equal opportunity. So they had promised, some of them promised to do some things they couldn't deliver on. But for me, my vision was I wanted to have our own network. Now, you don't always tell people, you don't let the right hand know what the left hand doing. But we went about it till we actually have our own network. We have our own Roku channel. Insights has its own channel. We've been doing it 3 years now. We have all of our own programming. We put our high school sports up there, creative content, our sports talk show, our Insights magazine component. We have a Remember the Legends component where we go and try to honor and recognize different people who had an athletic background but were successful in things that might not have been athletic. We had one of the TOC doctors here in the city, Dr. Roll, played football at the University of Florida, got drafted by Denver, and was at the Super Bowl. And he's a doctor. In fact, he operated on my knee twice, operated on my daughter's knee, but he took his excellence in football to parlay that into his scholarship, ended up being a medical doctor.
Wow.
So it's just the fact that there's a number of people that have done things that you might not even know their background. They might have started in sports. So it's just a number of things that we do. And one of the things that we try to do is that after we establish relationship with some of these student athletes, when they leave, we try to let people know when they've done something.
Mm-hmm.
People carry bad news. They'll go across town and deliver bad news. Girl, let me tell you about so-and-so. Oh, man, did you hear about this? It don't have to be true, but they'll roll with it. But when some of our kids do something positive, it's a slow drip. Slowly hear about it. So we try to keep people updated with some of our student athletes and their successes. So this past week people started reaching out to us about some of our student athletes that we actually featured on our game of the week and have been doing things on, that their teams have made it to the NCAA tournament. Those were student athletes out of this area, out of the Tallahassee area. And we have 4. Charlie Ward, Heisman Trophy winner Charlie Ward, his state championship team has 2. He has a guard that starts at Michigan, Trey Donaldson. If you watch the Big Ten at all, he won the semifinal game. It was the ESPN Play of the Week.
Yes, sir. He hit a hell of a play.
Went the length of the floor, made that layup.
Yes, he did. If y'all don't remember, he the one that got the fro.
That's him.
Okay.
That is him. He was most valuable player in the state tournament when they won the state championship.
Yeah.
And after he hit that basket in the semifinal game, in the championship game, he came back, hit 2 free throws with 3 seconds left to win the game.
Yeah.
He started. Then his partner in crime, Anthony Robinson, too, his dad played baseball at FAMU, was assistant baseball coach at FAMU. He's now the athletic director at Florida High, but his son is on TV right now. When I look up, he's starting guard at the University of Missouri with Mizzou. And as a freshman, averaged 3 points a game. This year, as a sophomore, averaged 12. People say that he was the most improved freshman in the country, is now on the radar for the NBA draft as a potential 6'3" guard. Holding first team all defense in the SEC. He's from Tallahassee.
Wow.
A guard from Atlanta plays at Georgia Tech, was leading scorer and rebound at Georgia Tech last year. Tony Morgan. She's from Florida High. She's the most athletic female we've had come out of this area in the last 10 or 12 years. The last one that was as athletic as her was named Jasmine Jones, and she played in the WNBA. She's from Tallahassee. She was second team all ACC, and she's playing for Georgia Tech right now, so you know she's academically sound. She's all these individuals we talk about are good academic students. Then we have one from Tallahassee Ricketts, Kamari McGriff, graduated at 6'7", went to UNC Wilmington, redshirt his first year. He's now 6'9.5". They're on in a little while tonight too. Average 11 and 9. These people are on the team and are contributing members, and one of them right there in Atlanta. So we feel really, really good with some of these. We had another one that's not in the March Madness, but he was a first-round draft pick with the Detroit Lions named Terrion Arnold. He was a freshman, went to Alabama. He's from Tallahassee, first-round draft pick. So Tallahassee has been able to produce some really, really successful students right in that class right there. And we feel fortunate to be able to have, decent relationships with most of them. They make sure we stay updated.
It is a multimedia message.
And we try to be able to use that to let people know how they're doing. So it's just something that, and then March Madness is, this is my favorite time of the year. I don't go to work when I had a job on this Thursday. I got my finger foods everywhere. I'm moving except to go to the bathroom. And that before they had split screen TVs where you could see 4 games at once, man. I had 2-3 TVs set up so I could see them. People don't understand, but back in the day, we had them split screens. It was split screen with a different TV.
No. Whole different world.
Yes, sir.
Your electric bill went up that in March, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
All right. Cool.
Man, looking back and looking at these kids who participate in March Madness, just looking at the talent level now coming out of Tallahassee, what are some of the things that you attribute that to? Because I know, some areas have a strong park league that feeds the schools. I mean, when you look at these athletes and they're coming out at a whole different level now, what do you attribute that to?
Well, it's no one thing, it's a combination of things.
Mhm.
There are a lot of areas like Orlando, I think, has an excellent job of youth sports and people who built their own facilities. There's gyms all over Orlando that people built and they use them as training facilities. My grandson, who's 11 now, when he was in Orlando, he was going to a trainer. Some of it is genetics and is God blessed. I mean, a lot of these student athletes, it almost runs in their family. Trey Donaldson's dad was a big time athlete at Troy. His mom played softball at Florida State for Joanne Graff. I mean, Anthony Robinson too, his dad was a big time baseball player and from FAMU High. His mom ran track. Terrion Arnold, his whole family is athletic. He has a cousin that was going to Florida State this year as a freshman, and she changed her mind. She's in a pro soccer league making six figures. I mean, so a lot of that runs in the family. And I've told my grandson that. I said, your mom played basketball at Hampton, your dad played football at Hampton, all your aunts played basketball, your granddaddy played at FAM, your great-grandfather played at FAM. If there was ever anybody who has it in their blood, it's you. But you have to instill your own heart. I can show you the drills, I can work with you, but it has to be something that you want to do.
Yeah.
So,
you speak like a coach, man. I'm about fired up now. I'm ready to go out and
Right.
I play football. I'm ready to go out and bust somebody, man.
I appreciate that. My daughter tells me that. She said, Daddy, she said, did you know that guy you just spoke to? I said, no. She said, well, why did you go over and say something to him? I said, because I was proud of him because he was carrying his baby. And I needed him to encourage him that I don't care about you and the baby mama, if y'all get along or don't. Let that baby know you his daddy.
Yeah.
You
That's
want
right.
to spend time with
That's right.
your child. So you make sure you spend time with him. And my daughter said, well, Daddy, how'd you know? I said, when you a coach or a former coach, your delivery says something to athletes and most people. You could say something to an athlete that his uncle might not be able to say something to. But because they're former athletes, it's just that gets in their ear and it resonates with them, like when they're talking to their coach and they kind of listen a little bit different. So I don't know what it is. I just kind of speak from my heart with whatever I speak because I'm gonna be pretty honest, So if you don't want to know, don't ask my ass because I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
And Mickey, that's the key. We're in this age right now where, kids, they can't take what we took back in the day. But Rick Pitino, he had to break that thing down. I don't know if y'all saw what he had to break it down to the kids on his team, and they didn't understand it. He said, "Y'all too soft." And if you get a chance to go back and listen to it, well, he went all up in them. They had to.
Oh, yeah, he did. He did.
But you see how they're performing right now. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. Life ain't gonna be easy. If you want to be the best, it ain't gonna be easy.
Well, I think we have a responsibility with our people, which is what we talk about at HBCU. The love that you get. Sometimes it's tough love, but it's concern. And see, Rick Pitino, I went to one of his coaching clinics back in the day when they used to have coaching clinics.
Right.
And when they ended the session, Rick Pitino told all of us, said, well, I'm starting with the Knicks. That's how long ago it was. He said, I'm going to the Knicks. If y'all want to come and watch practice or see some of the things put to use that you're in this clinic with, let me know. So everybody kind of left, and I sent him an email. So a couple days later, he called me. I was coaching at Florida A&M, and he called me. I wasn't there. Everybody on campus went, man, Coach Mickey Clayton, I got a phone call from Rick Pitino. What Rick Pitino want with you? I said, Rick Pitino called me? I was like, get out of here. So he had his secretary reach out to me and said, Coach, if you want to come, you can come. So I went to camp with the Knicks.
Wow.
And I never talked to Rick Pitino. He wouldn't know me from anybody else. I was the only person not on his staff in the gym, and I'm sitting in the top row at the top of the bleachers trying to be as unobtrusive as I could be, taking notes, watching him put in his presses that I wanted to use and things and the drills and everything. And I always talk about it. One of the first things I learned was in the NBA, how serious they are about stretching those guys. They would stretch 45 minutes to an hour. And I was just, when I grew up, when I played at FAM, stretching was you go through layup line, and when you get loose, you start dunking. That was about the only stretching you did. It wasn't stretching. I ain't know nothing about a stretch.
Right.
And Rod Strickland, first day of practice, comes practice late. Oakley grabs him, puts him up against the wall, and tells him about this not college, this the NBA, this pro, you're going to bring your such and such here like you're supposed to be. I don't want to hear no da-da-da-da-da. And from now on, you better be here or this is what you're going to get and worse every day, and dropped him.
Wow.
Now, who did he do like that?
Rod Strickland.
Rod Strickland.
Rod Strickland. Oakley still do you like that, won't he? Yeah.
Wow. You know, when you said Rick Pitino, I kind of thought about that. So, I mean, I went to Florida A&M. My wife went to Florida A&M. My mom went to Florida A&M. My dad played basketball at Florida A&M. My grandmother went to Florida A&M. I've had 2 of my daughters with degrees from Florida A&M. Graduated 4 years on time. Helped our graduation record because they were saying we wasn't graduating kids in 4 years. I came out in 4 years. So, you know, Florida A&M, good or bad, has made me who I am. As I told you before the show, you know, they changed my income tax bracket for my mom and dad and afforded me to live a lifestyle I might not have had without the university doing what it did for my mother and father. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to blaspheme the university. You know, that would not be what I'm about. Take a hit. I mean, it's fine. Because I don't think as a people we stay together. If you go, when I was in this picture behind me, we win March Madness. We won the conference tournament. First round of the tournament, wasn't no first 4 or playing. We went first round, played Duke. 5 of them guys went to the NBA off that Duke team. But I had an accident because they didn't send the bus to take us to the airport. We had just beat Cookman Saturday night. We got in 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Our flight was out early. We had a 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock departure, no bus. Flight leaving 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'm telling the guys, look, you got to get in your cars. You got to drive to the airport. We'll pay for it, but we got to get there. We got to catch the flight. Tournament starts. We got to get there. The story never came out till we won the conference championship. And when the reporter asked me anything about this week happened to you that make you know this is going to be a great week, because we started the season 0-9. We didn't have 9 players. So anyway, I said no, because my tournament started in a ditch in a rainstorm, and my team came without me. So then that's how my mother found out I was in a car accident. Like, can you imagine, you read about it in the paper, and it's like, you ain't tell me? Well, my mama gave me a new one. But that's how we got to the tournament. So we have things that happen, but at the end of the day, God's going to bless you. I mean, if we hadn't had what somebody did by not sending the bus for us, it ended up being a positive for us, because we got all of the television commercials. We got all of the stuff from it, you know, and it was really a real special time just to be able to come from where we came to win that tournament. And we had to win 4 games in 5 days in one uniform, in that one orange uniform you see in the we'd come back and have to wash that uniform, and in the hotel, getting it washed and getting it set up so we could be ready to play the next night. We only had 9 players. We had so many injuries. We actually had 7. We had to hold walk-on trials to get 2 more players, and our trainer would work out with the guys to make 10 because we didn't have enough to scrimmage. But the guys just kept saying, stuff just kept happening the whole season. And the guys sat in the middle of the court in Gaither Gym and said, Coach, this is going to be a heck of a movie when we win this thing. And that was just the optimism that they had. You know, they just grew together as a team. To give you an example, the university usually doesn't send anybody all the way up there, the band and cheerleaders, because they say we spend all that money for you lose first round, you come back home. So they don't send it. But by the time we got to the semifinals, they started to feel like, you know, this might be something here. Mm-hmm. So they said, Coach, we send in the band and we send in the cheerleaders. So I'm like, all right, don't jinx us. We ain't had them all year. Don't let them show up now and jinx us. All right, so I hear these buses pull up and they put them in the same hotel the team is in. And I'm like, oh, shit. This ain't going to work. Because, you know, the band and the cheerleaders, they coming to have a good time. So they just happen to do the game, but they ain't thinking about getting no rest. They ain't thinking about none of that. So I rush down, I get on the bus, and I'm like, hey, I need y'all to just kind of keep it down. The guys need some rest. You know, we playing the late game. We trying to find something to eat. We get back 10, 11 o'clock. So, you know, it's just a whole lot kind of working against us. And they're like, oh, Coach, don't worry. You know, y'all be good. Man, that lasted till I got off the bus. It lasts. And one of the things, how you know your team is matured, one of my starting players, the cheerleaders were just beating on his door. And he young man, he opened the door. He's been up there 4 or 5 days now. So he's like, look, you could be with me tonight, or you could wait till tomorrow night and be with the champion.
Hey, that was smart.
Yeah, all right.
That was the maturity of them guys to be able to get there. I was not coaching still. That was on them fighting together and staying together. To be able to do that, you know. So we were really pretty excited about being in a position that we could do something like that for the university. So for me, again, this is a special time of the year that I could look at people and see them do. And the one thing we did tell them, we said every tournament has a Cinderella team. Why not? And that was our theme as we went through the conference tournament.
Yeah.
No.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Florida A&M is in my blood, and I owe the institution everything, and I try to give them all to me.
Hey, I wonder what was the team that you were most proud of, and why so? I'm sure you had many teams throughout the years, but is there one that you remember that I was this team? I remember this team. I'm really proud of these guys or girls.
Well, that team that accomplished that with what they call the Noble Nine, and I remember Joe Bullock called me the night we won the championship. He said, Mickey, y'all back in town? I said, no, man, we still up here in Virginia. He said, well, over at the Moon, there's some guys that they the Noble Nine. They trying to get in the club. I said, don't take your cousins long. I said, no, we still here. We haven't even found where the plane is. But that team I was proud of. The women's team we had that was a championship team. We didn't have a conference affiliation because nobody really cared about women's basketball. Watch it grow. And so what happened was even the NCAA was not concerned with us. And what happened was there was an organization called AIAW that put together all the championships for the women team. And is that echo me?
Yeah, I do hear an echo. Check out, make sure the YouTube.
Yeah, the YouTube is silent.
Okay, try it again. I still hear the echo.
Well, if anybody's feeding back, you might want to turn down your speakers at home.
Okay.
I'll check the.
I don't hear echo.
I don't hear it now.
Okay, let's try it now.
Okay, and
that's better.
They were intent on governing women athletics to avoid all the mistakes that men's athletics made. And Florida A&M at the time, we were Division II, and we had this big rivalry with Florida State. And Florida State was Division I and said, well, we're not going to play y'all anymore. And it was fine. Well,
just started again. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was off and then it just started. The echo. I can still hear it. Testing. 1, 2. It went away and then it started back.
I know my speakers are down here.
Testing 1. Testing.
Hello. Is that better?
Okay, let's try that.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
Oh, something happened and it just went off. Now it's back.
Okay.
But in the AIW, if you were in the same division, you had to play everybody in that division twice. So we went from Division II to Division I to make Florida State play us, because once we went Division I, they had to play us. And we didn't beat them all the time, but we have beaten Florida State more times than all the other programs that Florida A&M put together and doubled. We have programs that never beat Florida State, but we didn't beat them all the time. But we beat them enough they didn't want to play us, and then they didn't want to come to our gym, because our gym, Shad, if you remember, our gym was packed. You couldn't get in there for the girls. Man.
You know, that happened here at Georgia Tech when Georgia Tech was, I think they were playing, it might have been when Lefty was the coach of Georgia State, and they were playing Bobby Crimin's Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, and they gave him a real hard time, and I think Lefty complained about some things, and I think Crimin stopped playing them, because he was, he used that as a premise to stop playing them. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
But that team was a special team that I had then, because they would go at them, and everybody in town would come, and they just were very close. I remember we lost at Central Florida, and they had cheated us so bad and fouled so many of our girls out. And when we took them to eat, I left the cafeteria and was just standing alongside the interstate just looking. I was so mad. And my assistant coach, Ralph Coleman, may rest in peace, came up to me. He said, Coach, you eating tonight? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna eat. He said, well, you need to make your mind up and come on in. And I said, I'll be there after a while. He said, your team not eating, you need to look behind you. And standing behind me was my whole team standing behind me. And they said they wasn't eating until I came in. They said, you the head of the team, coach, and you the head of the family. So if you don't eat, we don't eat. And they said, Coach, what happened to us tonight will never happen again. And when we played Central Florida the next time and they were filing people out again, the girls would stand up and say, file them out, because we got another one just as good to take her place. And they just kept on coming, and they persevered and beat them that night. But I was kind of proud of that group too.
Okay. One thing we talked about a few weeks back on our show, we referenced you because we remember you had said something in the first time you were on about the difference in the attention to fundamentals between men and women teams. Could you, for some of us who were not on at that time, could you refresh that?
Well, and I'm still a firm believer that the women athletes are more coachable. They want to know how to accomplish and do certain things. So when you would go to them and teach them how to do different things, they were really receptive. The guys, on the other hand, felt that they were so talented that the fundamentals, they didn't need the fundamentals. They didn't need to have to shoot right and left-handed because I'm gonna just dunk on them anyway. And they would learn the hot dog moves and the one-on-one play and the ISO play, but they wouldn't know how to pass. And we spent a lot of time trying to teach them those fundamentals of the game, which is honestly, I'll be honest, it was a long time where I didn't watch the WNBA because I was so upset with them missing layups. And I was like, my doggone AAU teams, my travel ball teams wasn't missing the layups. They were, but they've gotten a lot better. But we just felt like it was easier to teach them, and their fundamentals. Generally, if you watch this weekend, watch the girls and watch the guys, and you'll see a difference in the fundamentals with them. Their fundamentals are stronger because they wanted to be better, and they started learning how to do fundamentals, left hand, right hand, going through just basic things that you'll be surprised the number of guys who can't do it.
Okay.
Beans.
Mike, you're muted. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, one of the things I hate, Mickey, and I was telling the guys about this a couple of weeks ago, when we lost Kobe and his daughter, they were grinding. They were working to get her to that level. She was putting the work in when nobody was watching. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. They were going to a camp. And Kobe had that vision for his daughter. And I heard it read somewhere that she had that same mentality that he had. She wanted it, and he was getting her ready. And when you look at people like Angel Reese and Caitlin, Caitlin Clark? Yeah, you look at them, you wonder, man, Kobe Bryant's daughter would have been probably right up there with them because he was preparing her for that platform. But she never had an opportunity to be there because of that tragedy. But he saw that. He saw where the NBA, where women's basketball, college and professional was going. Kobe saw it. Yeah.
And they used to ask him, doesn't he wish he had a son? Don't you wish he had a son? And this particular daughter got upset and was like, no, I got this.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And see, I always thought women's sports were great. I know in our gym, it was great for father-daughter relationships. We had a lot of guys that were bringing their daughters to the Rattlerettes basketball game. Well, we were the Rattlerettes then, and they were. I didn't want us to be the Lady Rattlers. Good night, grandson. My grandson, he come tell me good night. He had written it on a sheet, said good night, so he didn't.
That's all right.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 11.
That next generation, generation of greatness.
He live out there working on his game. And I've had him on our show to the point that people say, well, where's Jeremiah? You hadn't had him on the show in a while. So we have him on our show because I try to teach him things and expose him to different things. If he doesn't like it, doesn't want to do it, that's fine. But at least he knows about it.
Right.
So, it's just what we do. And as a granddad, I think that's the greatest thing you could be. Granddad's better than being a dad.
Yeah, keep them anchored.
Oh man, if I had to do it all over again, I'd just skip being a dad and go straight to
I love it.
Yeah, they show way more love, that's for sure.
Hey, Coach, I had a quick question.
Yes, sir.
And this is two questions in one. Okay, somebody was talking about the NIL. Okay, so as far as the young women, young men that's looking at the NIL, how can they stay focused? Because I know a lot of them grew up in poverty. How can they stay focused on the game more so the money?
Stop. How did they stay focused when they were paying them under the table to begin with? They've been getting paid the whole time.
Okay.
All the NIL did was give the institutions a way to pay those guys, which they thought is a legitimate way to pay them. I mean, way back when I was coaching, schools were telling me, said, Coach, you're not going to ever get a guy except he's at a certain level. And I said, what you mean? They said, because where you go in, offer them scholarships, and we go in right off the bat, and they'll tell them, I'm going to pay you X thousands of dollars. This was going to cost you. I got this available. He's like, I'm going to cut right to the chase. So if FAMU get a guy, I'm going to buy him from you anyway. So they've been paying. It's not new.
Okay.
It's not new.
It's just
Now they're just doing it without an issue.
Okay. And second question, someone like Bronny, how can you give him that drive when he know he has the money, his dad has the money, he don't need the money? How can he take it to that next level to have that drive as if he needed the money?
What's a lot of times it's not about the money. Guys who really want to play and girls who really want to play for free. You can't get them out the park. They play for free for the love of the game.
Yeah.
My daughter asked me, she said, Daddy, I don't know about Jeremiah, my grandson, just said he's so competitive. He hates to lose. He has a fit. How are we going to handle that? I said, we're not going to handle it. We want that drive in him. You can't put it in them if they don't have it.
Right.
But if he hates to lose, what that tells me is he's going to do whatever he has to do so he doesn't lose again. So he's going to work harder and harder to develop his talent and his skills. And we just want to be just that competitive in the classroom as well. But I love that drive. I said, I love all my children. We were just talking off air about how competitive all my daughters played. All of them. All three of them. All of them played basketball. All of them had different levels of success. But they're competitive. We do our own family March Madness pool. Man, they started talking shit before it even started. You know, they crowning themselves queen and they got their husbands on it and they talking junk. I mean, my whole family competitive about anything. They can't do nothing without trying to be the best. And so before y'all say it, yeah, they get it legit. Okay, before y'all say.
So, Coach, who do you think is going to do this year?
Oh, Coach, don't ask me that. I had no
Come on now.
I have no idea. If I knew I would win the pool one year, I don't ever win the pool. And
man, that thing is so hard. I don't even do it no more. I just whatever happened, you know, because it's so hard to, you know, you see a team like Houston or somebody, you know, and they killing, and all of a sudden somebody come, you know, a number 11 team or something and knock them out like they wasn't even there, you know.
Yeah.
So
look at Alabama State. They were down 2-1 with 3 minutes to go in the first half against Auburn.
Yeah.
The bottom fell out, but they were right there.
Yeah, McNeese State wiped Clemson.
Clemson out. Boom.
They scored enough to hold on.
Yeah,
that's right.
Early.
They sure did it. And see, we talk a lot on the Insights show live every Wednesday, 7:05 on everything. It's on Insights. We're on Roku, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're on everything. And one of the things that we talk about is how the women sports have grown so much. And it's really simple.
Yeah.
The guys play a year and leave. You don't know who's playing on Duke. You don't know who's playing on Florida. Them guys play a year, they gone to the league. The women don't leave. So you knew Caitlin Clark was coming back every year. You knew Reese was coming back. So you knew when you saw them on, you could identify who was on there. Like last year, Juju Watkins blew up.
Yeah.
And she beat UCLA herself. Each time they beat them twice, she went for 30, 35 points. The one game she didn't go over 30, UCLA won. But because you get a chance to see them, you're going to see the same girl next year and the year after. So you follow them. You follow them because that name, you read, oh yeah, she plays for so-and-so. I like UConn. Why? Because I like Gino. He's a male coach coaching women, which was like me. And you catch a lot of grief as a male coaching women's teams. Oh my goodness. It was way more sexism than racism.
Yeah. You know, the NIL, some football guys have, instead of going pro earlier, have stayed because of the NIL money. One thing I'm not as into the college game as I used to be because of the one and done. I do think I'm glad they have it because those kids need to have the ability to make money just like they do in tennis and in golf and so forth. But I know one thing with me, I got to know players better when I used to see them 2 and 3 years, you know.
Yeah.
And how do you feel it has affected the game?
Well, this is my issue was always that certain sports you could leave college and it wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
You just said baseball, tennis.
Yeah.
You could leave. Baseball, you could leave out of high school. Because it had gotten so big in football and basketball, they fought for a long time for those guys not to come out because the colleges were making so much money. If you kind of follow it, the NIL and all of this started when the collegiate athletes started suing the NCAA. Years ago, they had a college game that was like Madden, but they had a college game that was hot. Everybody was playing it. And they had all the individual players and the guys were like, we're not making any money. That's my name, image, and likeness right there. So they end up suing the NCAA and they won. But at the same time, there was an internal battle going on between football and the NCAA. The football wanted to control their own fate, wanted to control their own money. The NCAA was afraid that these schools were going to withdraw and they would lose all of their income. So they let football govern themselves. Because why? They wanted to keep basketball because of the March Madness and the money they make off March Madness and the money the NCAA makes off March Madness finances the rest of their whole program, championships, and everything else within the NCAA. So there's some.
Mickey, did you know last year that the Little League made more money than the NFL made for that year? I think Little League made 14 billion and made 13 and a half, the NFL.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the kind of money that comes from, you know, the kids, even when they little bitty, and the parents of the kids that play in those things, they still have to pay to get in the daggone stadium.
Oh yeah. Yeah, travel ball is like that too. And see, volleyball makes 10 times the amount of money in travel ball than basketball does. And parents who pay for their daughters to play volleyball are spending pretty good money. And whenever you travel, even when I coach travel ball, you had to pay, parents had to pay. I went to see my grandson play in his first tournament in Jacksonville. We had to pay to get in. And you paying might be $10, $15, $20 to get in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of money, and it also depends on who's playing in the sport.
Okay.
Who's playing
Hey,
in that
let
sport?
me ask, we have a poet. Does our poet have a segment today?
Yeah. I come.
Okay.
I see.
Before we end, Coach Clayton, we always get our poet to lay some of his gems on us.
Okay.
I get a little short. I see who was that Grady at back there with some faith. So I got faith as a gift one day in the power of salvation. I found that faith worked with patience and patience worked with duration. I couldn't quite understand. I said, I don't know what faith means. Then I heard I could move mountains if I had the size of a mustard seed. Well, I said, I knew I couldn't move a mountain. I could hardly move a mole. But the woman that touched Jesus' garment, he told, that faith has made thee whole. So that let me know that faith ain't all that hard, but faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. That's faith.
All right.
All right, my brother.
All right.
Then.
Coach Clayton, he come up with these things weekly. You know what I mean? So we're glad to have him.
I'm speechless.
Hey, Coach, before you go, I got one more quick question for you.
No, I
All
can't.
right,
I can't rap. I can't. I ain't got no more. No trick question.
And this was kind of personal, all right? Because growing up, Now, growing up, and I know it's a lot of people probably like myself. As a young man, I used to love to play, you know, in the gym, up the street and all,
Mm-hmm.
local gym. But it was something when it got, when it came to playing, for schools, it was more of a nervousness. So if you had a kid that came in he was great, but then how sometimes when people see the crowd, it's a different. Everybody don't have that same. I think that's when some of the stars come in, where they can play in front of a million people, just like it's in front of two or three people. So, what do you tell that kid that has that that issue?
Well, if you were out there on the team with me, I put my hand on your head and I touch it like that and say, "Son, we appreciate your effort. Go back outside and play in the playground." Every team we call them practice players. Okay. I've had guys that don't miss a shot in practice. And you put them in a game, they hitting the back of the backboard, they throwing it under the goal, they doing everything. And see, everybody will be saying, "Man, why don't so-and-so don't play?" Because I'm in practice with them every day. I know they're not going to help. But we tried. We even had some we had psychologists at the university. We went to the psychology department and had them talk to them to see if it was something they could do to help them get over what we thought was a mental block. And almost every single coach will tell you got kids, sometimes they just practice players. And when you get them in a game, whatever happens, happens. There's not much you can do about it. You try, because you hope that one day you have a breakthrough. But wasn't that good a coach.
So it's something you born with.
I won't say born with, but it's sometimes, like it's three boys. It was three of us. And if a new dance came out, back then it was Soul Train. It was two of us that might not get it for a month. But I had a brother, he'd look at it for 30 seconds and he'd do it. I had three daughters. I'd work with them and work with them and work with them. My youngest daughter would go in the garage, come back out, and tell them how to do it. She'd pick it up just like that. My grandson picks it up just like that. I'll show him something and he'll try to figure it out, handling the ball and doing it, and he'll spend about 60 seconds on it. The next thing I know, and I just it's a gift. It's something that they're blessed that they could do, that I could spend a week trying to do it and can't do it, and they pick it up real quick.
Hey, great. Yeah. Hey, we're about at the end. Tell us about where to find your show, Insights. You said you've been on 11 years. Where and what time can we tune in?
Our show live, our sports talk show is live, and it's on YouTube on Insights, INSIIGHTS, 2 eyes in the middle. Everybody said, "Well, how did you come up with 2 eyes in the middle?" I said, "Well, easy, because when we tried to get that website with that name spelled correctly, it was already taken. So we just put 2 eyes in it."
I like that. You had some sage reason to do it. Hey, you should have told them that. You should have came up with some kind of Swami reason that you did.
Right.
What did I tell you? If you ask me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. and our logo is the big eye and 2 small eyes with it. And so I when I did it, I told my daughter I didn't like it. I said, "Why?" She said, "Because people don't recognize it." She said, "Daddy, when Nike started, they didn't know what the swoosh was, did they?"
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, Pumpkin, I'm gonna go with that." So we're also on Instagram, same spelling, YouTube, LinkedIn. We have our own Roku channel.
Okay.
You have Roku, just put Insights with 2 eyes in the middle, it'll come up. We change the programming on there every 2 or 3 weeks, so it's different shows. We have a tape that we're gonna put up that we actually taped Shedeur Sanders, with Dion brought his team to Quincy and played Corey Fuller's team. And Shedeur was the quarterback on that team. And that thing has several thousand hits on it, but we don't keep it up. We'll put it up again. We'll make a special announcement that it's back up there. But we have people that have gone on in the NFL. We had runner-up offensive player of the year from Bainbridge. That kid's name was Ben Pierce, went to Florida. He played against Rutgers, had 50 carries and carried the ball for 379 yards.
Wow.
I mean, so we have some athletes up there, and then we have some stories up there. And we have a movie that we did that we get ready to put it out again. We did a movie, and the main reason I did a movie was that people told me I couldn't do it. So once they told me I couldn't do it, it became a challenge. You know,
Right.
so we created a movie. And Shed, you were at FAMU, and we were over the booster office, man. We had so many things happen in that parking lot. The whole movie is about experiences in the parking lot.
Yes, sir. Man, it's just amazing the things that has occurred at FAM. I mean, even with my kids, I tell them about the 100 on the patch. I tell them about the set and how I say, man, there was times we were making money because people couldn't get their cars. They were driving Volkswagens and they stick shift. They couldn't even get them up to the set. I said, okay, how much money you got? Used to go down and drive their car up on the set. They couldn't even get the cars up. I said, I don't know why y'all come up on the hill driving. But see, I grew up driving dump trucks and tractors and stuff like that, so I knew. But man, I just loved the segment, and then I even loved it even when you mentioned about the girls versus the guys being passionate even about the sports and all of that, because it brought back memories. It brought back memories when you saw even guys as well as girls back when we didn't even have gyms. And you used to wonder, say, why this dude still out on the basketball court and it's pitch black and he's still out there shooting the ball? And then when you had a passionate coach, you say, he ain't got no lights, but he still got these boys out here in his pitch black dark and they still playing. But guess what? Coach was winning the championship because of that passion and that feel that everybody had for the game. You know, it's just amazing if you can see our athletes get back to that, because everybody just don't have that drive and that passion no more.
Right.
As some of them do. And I just love it when you speak about a lot of these young fellas and girls and the way they have moved on and gone on and still going. And when your grands and everybody like that is taking notice, hey, that's worth billions right there.
It is.
Well,
I
y'all
love
take
to
note
see
of the different websites on the screen there, and let's support our brother. You know, let you know what they always say: tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. You know, so let's give Brother Mickey some support, as he has given us by coming on twice here.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, we really appreciate you coming on. And yeah, you say you're on Instagram also?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we have to look you up right there too. You have any final words to say before we turn it over to my co-host Mike? He usually closes us out.
Well, let me say thank you for letting me come on and share a little knowledge and fellowship. And let me tell you how special you are for me is that I told you this is the number 1 and 2 days in the sports world, period. Friday. I told you I don't go to work. And I'm sitting here right now, when I look over the top of the laptop, I'm trying to see what's going on in the games, and I can't. But for me to be able to make that sacrifice, to be here with y'all, that's like the ultimate sacrifice for basketball.
Well, that increases our appreciation exponentially.
I guarantee you, Mickey, practically every one of us have called in and say, hey, because of March Madness at one point, at some time. I ain't going.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but let's support Insights. Let's support Coach Clayton. Mike Howard, you close out, my brother.
Let me just do this. Look, I'm sending the thumbs up, brother.
I see you over there
Thank
playing
you, brother. Thank you. Brother, first of all, let me just thank you, my brother. You always come with the knowledge. You always come with the wisdom. Man, we thank you for taking the time out to give us these insights. man, this is your mission. This is your ministry. You use basketball as a tool to make all of us better. And when you look at the game of basketball, you showed us that in the game of basketball, a rebound is a time for us to bounce back when things get difficult. And sometimes we got to box out to keep all the negative stuff from around us. And then sometimes we have to dig down deep and just run one more suicide when we feel like giving up. We keep pushing, we keep pressing. And then sometimes in life, you got to cross over to get to the hoop so you can slam dunk and get what you want. But then most of all, you remember in this game of life and in basketball, we miss 100% of the shots that we don't take. My brother, we appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. Sir. We're going to do some collaborations later on down the road, my brother. And let's do what we do. Let's go March Madness. Thank each one of y'all for being a part of this call tonight on the Mike and Amaysn Show. Love y'all. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes, love you. Let's give Coach Clayton a round of applause.
All right,
sir. Thank you, Clayton.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we got 2 poets now.
All right.
I was wondering who was the real poet on that one.
Yeah. Hey, until next time, thank you again, Coach. And hopefully I know I'm going to definitely check out some of your insights. Yeah. And we appreciate you very much.
Stay blessed.
All right. Till next week, y'all.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, man.